All right, guys, welcome back to the Live Button Podcast with Dad the Gamer and Pastorgainz. We're going to be talking about variety gaming versus single gaming streaming. And we both bring a very different approach to this, I think. So this should be some good conversation because on one hand, you have Dad the Gamer, who is a Modern Warfare streamer. That is what he does. It's up his alley. He's crushing at it. I co-streamed with him one time and he put me in his backpack and I have never done it again. It's been absolutely crazy.
And we hit the ground because I didn't pull my parachute.
Yeah, it was Breaking Legs 101. It was great. And then for me, I'm always streaming a million games at a time because I can't stay committed to one singular game. So we have different points of view, different things we're going to be talking about. So, Dad, what was the reasoning that you decided to just choose Modern Warfare with as oversaturated and as anti everybody is to when you start streaming choosing Modern Warfare? What was the thought process there?
Yeah, so I hate when you hear so many people talking about don't stream one game or oversaturated games. I mean, for me, I think it's the opposite. I started playing Modern Warfare or Warzone after it was already the hot topic. So I was once again I was deployed, came back home, and everybody was kind of playing it already. But I immediately fell into the whole like battle royale scene. I think it was a different take on, first-person shooters, and I love BRs now. Once again, it's all I play is Call of Duty Warzone. Sure. So, the main reason why I played a couple games not offline. I played a couple games outside of Call of Duty Warzone, Fortnite, and I played Escape from Tarkov. But I'll tell you, as somebody who plays Call of Duty Warzone exclusively, 99% of the time. My viewership dropped when I switched to those kind of games, just because people are used to me playing the Call of Duty Warzone. As soon as I switched to, recently I played Apex Legends with the Daily Dad.
Love the Daily Dad.
Yeah, and Damn Daniel and. They care. I was like you playing with me on Warzone. They carried me on their backpacks because I had no idea what I was doing. But my viewership dropped to, I think at the lowest was 9. I looked down, it was 9 viewers. I was like, oh my God. I was like, bro, I need to get off of this. And as soon as I made the switch back into Warzone, I don't know, I was in like the high 20s again. I was like, okay, you guys don't like me playing anything outside of Warzone. I got that. But as a content creator, you need to figure out, one, obviously, I think people forget that streaming, they look at too many analytics and numbers, and they just forget that you just have to have fun playing whatever you're playing. And for me, no matter how much Call of Duty sucks, and I hate that game sometimes, I enjoy BR and I enjoy Warzone. I enjoy playing Warzone. It's never gotten to the point where I'm like, man, I really hate playing this game, but I'm going to keep playing it because it's, I could produce good content from it. No, like I genuinely enjoy playing that game. And it's probably the same for you for, the variety games, right?
Sure. So, bro, I just remember the montage that I made of me playing with you in Warzone. It was just great. Me dying over and over and over and over again. You might have been doing a charity stream because I was definitely the charity that you were trying to save because that was insane. So the reason that I don't play Warzone, I play Modern Warfare like a beast. I love Modern Warfare, but I love the multiplayer Modern Warfare.
Sure.
Okay. So, I mean, BR is fun, but I play it offline with my friends. We're super, super casual. We never win. We're just kind of in it for the laughs.
Sure.
But the reason, and dude, you hit on this, the reason that I am a variety streamer is because I want people to come to my stream for me. Because you mentioned it, you were like, the second you switch games, and it's not just you, it's a lot of the big streamers. Like, I think Tim the Tatman was playing Overwatch for so long, and then he switched to Fortnite and lost like half of his viewership. Yeah. Now, granted, half of his viewership was like 80,000 people after he had lost the half. So it's like, okay, whatever. But my whole goal for variety streaming was that I want to be able to play whatever I want to play, and people will still come back and hang out. Now, I will caveat that with, I'm very curious to see if I became a single game streamer, if my numbers would grow in terms of my viewership based on the fact that I'm always in that space. You know what I mean? So like you're known for Warzone because you've been streaming Warzone for a year plus. Yep. I am not really at this point. I'm known for just chatting, like that's kind of where I'm at because my interesting issue that I've had with being a variety streamer is I'll do my just chatting segment, and then the second that I'll go into gameplay, it may be a little bit of single game streamer syndrome where, oh, it's not the game that we thought you were going to play tonight, we're out,
Yeah.
type situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had to really kind of struggle with the fact, like, do I even freaking play games, or do I just sit there and like do just chatting for 3 hours and people vibe and have a good time and hang out and it's a great time? But I'm kind of now still a variety streamer, but I'm doing a lot more like Dark Souls games and like the FromSoft games and Elden Ring and stuff, because just like you said, I have genuine fun playing those games. Like when I first started streaming, I was very much like, okay, I'm going to be a variety streamer, but in order to get into variety streaming, I can only play games that are under 4,000 viewers, because that means there's going to be more people per streamer doing it, like all the numbers, all the analytics, all this kind of stuff. And it's sometimes I got lost in the fact that like the numbers were just piling up on me. And like if I had 10 people in a stream, it was a bad stream. You know what I mean? So when I first started streaming and I had 3, I'd be like, God, I would kill for 10 people.
Yeah, 10 people.
You know what I mean?
It's all it's all relevant.
It's all relative. So when it comes to the variety streaming, my big belief is that like if you play a ton of different games, your community, in my opinion, is more likely to come for you 100%. As a person than just your game. And that was my point behind the whole thing.
So I hate all the websites out there that have all these analytics for the games, right? Like, you know, what game to stream. I don't remember what the website is. Like Solely Gnome is one of them.
There's a few of them.
But you know, no hate against those websites. I understand what they're trying to do. But for me, like I once again, I can't stress it enough. Play the game that you enjoy playing, because people are going to be able to recognize and they could see that you don't enjoy playing the game. For me,
100%.
I have a few friends that enjoy playing Fortnite. I play Fortnite. I can play it for a little bit, but I don't enjoy it like I do. Like I enjoy playing Warzone, right? Now you talked about the numbers a little bit in terms of like, whatever. There's 4,000 viewers or streamers playing it, and Warzone is consistently a top 3 or 5 stream game on Twitch, right?
No debate on that at all.
Yeah, and I look at that as the opposite way, right? I look at it as there's that many people that are interested in playing that game. That means there's that many people that are interested in watching that kind of content, if you think about it that way, right? So, that's how I look at it. And we can get into, the whole game clips thing and when you should post them and why you should post whatever, right? But that's how I look at it. And I get when people are talking about, if I'm somebody who is, and we talked about this with the Twitch discoverability a little bit last episode, but if I'm somebody who doesn't have social medias at all, and I'm trying to grow on Twitch without growing a social media platform, I promise you, you're going to have a hard time playing Warzone if you're not creating content elsewhere, because you're going to go down the list. If you're streaming to 1 viewer, it takes a long time for somebody to scroll down 25, 30, 50,000 people streaming Warzone to get to the 1 viewer mark all at the bottom. And then for some reason, God only knows why, they clicked on your stream and said, I like this. Let me give them a follow, right? Versus somebody streaming, maybe a variety streamer, somebody streaming games that are not very well known, and they're trying to grow that way. It's easier, because if you look at those categories, it's going to go from, say, for example, somebody streaming, a few hundred people down to, streaming to 1 within a very short period of time. So people don't have to scroll down very fast or very far to find, your stream, versus people playing, Apex Legends, Warzone, those kind of games. So, if you're somebody who has a social media platform, stick to 1 game. I've talked offline a little bit to a good friend of mine about, he's a variety streamer, and I told him, my advice to him was, if figure out how to create content from whatever game that you're trying to play. If you're playing Warzone, obviously for me, it's easy for me to create Warzone content, right? If I go to and played, Dark Souls, right, a game that Pastorgainz plays, I have no idea how I can create content from that, other than me being a dumbass and an idiot, right? So if you I think I'm halfway decent at creating content from Warzone. So outside of me having fun playing the game, that's why I continue to play Warzone. It's because I know how to create content from Warzone. Just play whatever game that you enjoy playing, but also know how to create content from that game.
Yeah, and I think also too with we talked a little bit last episode about TikTok growth and like that using that for discoverability. I may have pinned myself into a corner here with the fact that like my content on TikTok is me talking. It's not me playing games. So when
Sure.
people come over to my Twitch stream, me talking does very, very well on Twitch. It's just, and I think my content has morphed a little bit unintentionally to the point where, like, now when I go to gameplay, people either are like, okay, he's playing a game, I can play a game now and I can lurk. Because, like, when I play games, my chat, like, kind of stops moving and it just kind
Sure.
of, like, hangs out, which for a streamer, like, any streamer, it doesn't feel great when your chat stops moving. It's just like a very odd
Yeah.
thing to do.
Yeah.
So
100%.
it's like this problem that you now have to solve and you have to, like, all this kind of stuff. So, but I also think too that I think it gets misconstrued when people are like, you if you're going to be a variety streamer, you can't stream the games you want to stream. So for example, like the reason that I say stream under the 4,000 or 5,000 to 4,000 range of viewer games is typically because people will find you faster, like you mentioned, with
Sure.
the scroll bar and not having to go as far down and whatever it may be. I also want to reiterate that there are games that are really, really good games that are in that viewership. Like
Sure.
everyone on Twitch is super infatuated, obviously, with Warzone, Apex Legends, and then Valorant, and there's like a few others that are always the top 5 that are across
Yeah.
the board. Obviously, just chatting is one as well, but there are some really, really solid titles that are under 5,000 viewers. Like Breath of the Wild is an insanely good game
Yeah.
under 5,000 viewers. And if you, the cool thing about being a variety streamer, and you can do this as well with being a solo streamer as well, just probably not as often, is if there's a new game coming out that's in the franchise of variety games that you've been doing, you can then variety stream through some of those different games to get to that franchise. Like my plan for Zelda, when because I've streamed Zelda before, is like before Breath of the Wild 2 comes out, I'm going to stream the entirety of Breath of the Wild right up until we get to Breath of the Wild 2. And then boom, Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be at the top of Twitch for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yep.
But because people are going to know me from playing Zelda, I'm also going to be somebody who plays that game and people are going to come and find me there. So there's definitely ways to do it, but you don't have to stream like Hello Kitty Island Adventure under
Yeah.
5,000 viewers and like
Yeah.
be successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, you. So for you, you talked about it, figuring out a way to create content from that, right? So whatever,
Yeah.
say for example, if a game has so many, titles before this next title's coming out, that's great content. You can sit there and say, hey, you know what? I played this game starting from number 1, and I'm gonna play through all the way through. And people that are interested in that game, they're gonna come and say, hey, you know what? I'm interested in watching that game, and I want to see it, right? I'm kind of curious on your take on this because I have my own. I'll wait for you to kind of give your take. But what do you think about somebody, a variety streamer, every single stream streaming a different game? It's never the same game.
Oh, that's a no-no. Okay, so like
Yeah.
I think that's a variety streamer bad play. So I've experimented with this, especially when I was back on Mixer trying to figure things out, and then a little bit when I was even up until probably a year ago on Twitch, where I wanted to stream multiple games, but I still stream 3 times a week, but it was like I would stream Minecraft on Tuesdays, I would stream Breath of the Wild on Wednesdays, and I would stream Modern Warfare on Fridays.
Sure.
And the problem with this is it does not give you any time to cultivate and curate an audience for a game. And I know I mentioned that like I want people to come to my stream for me,
Yeah.
which I do because I like building relationships with people, I like talking to people, all that kind of stuff. But you also want to engage in as much of the minimal Twitch discoverability as there is. And if you are constantly in like in a gaming category, like let's say for 1 month, which is typically how I'm doing it currently, is like for 1 month at a time, I'll do a game. So let's say I'm doing Assassin's Creed for an entire month. I'm going to be in that category for 1 month, and people are going to have probably 12 to 15 times to come into my stream, figure out what I'm doing. Not only am I going to be kind of understood as when the new people come in as like, hey, I'm playing Assassin's Creed, but there's 1,000 other different Assassin's Creed games I play. So when I switch variety games, I'm still in the Assassin's Creed franchise,
Sure.
but I'm doing a different game. If you're constantly doing let's say my schedule, 3 different games a week, every single stream is a different game. It's not impossible, but it's going to be very hard for you to maintain consistency in an audience. Because like I said before, and like Dad the Gamer said before, when he streamed a different game after just playing that game entirely for his streaming career, his viewership dropped super, super low. The same thing happens with people who you're trying to cultivate into your community.
Sure.
If you switch games too fast, it's going to give people whiplash. And if they don't quite resonate with you yet, but they resonated with the game, they're gone. They're looking for the next streamer. So that's my long-winded answer to say that's a really bad idea, in my opinion.
100%.
So what do you think?
Yeah, I'm on the same page. So, I'm with a variety streamer in terms of how you talked about it. If you're play whatever Assassin's Creed, right? Play Assassin's Creed, play through different games. There people are interested in the Assassin's Creed whatever brand or all the games, right? But when you're bouncing around games and you're posting, say for example, you're somebody who's posting on social media, TikTok for growth, and somebody, say for example, you post a TikTok and somebody goes to your profile and all of a sudden it's like every single video that you're posting is of a different game.
Yeah.
For me, at least,
confusing.
It's confusing, right? For me,
Yeah.
I follow a lot of Call of Duty Warzone content creators, but if all of a sudden they switch games, I'd probably be less likely to follow those individuals because every single video would be different, right?
Sure.
So 100%. I mean, if you could pump out enough content to be able to post consistently for a week or two for that one particular game, awesome. That's probably not going to happen, right? So that's 100%. I think if you're a variety streamer, do not stream outside of I would avoid streaming different titles every single stream because that's where you're not going to gain enough of an audience for them to say, you know what, I want to stick around. I want to be back next stream because next stream you're going to stream something different. I know for me as a viewer, I will see a streamer that I enjoy watching play a different game than they normally play, such as Warzone. I might give them a lurk, right? I might come in and say, hey, what's up? But I'm not going to be as engaged into the actual game itself and what's happening on stream just because they're not playing a game that I know or a game that I'm like really excited about. I'm more there because I like them, kind of what you talked about. I like them as a streamer and as a content creator, but it's just me probably putting up their stream, kind of listening to audio from the streamer itself versus me being engaged into what they're actually the game that they're actually playing.
Yeah, and I think this is also really good too that not that we have two opposing views, but we have two very different ways of doing things. Whereas like you are very much in the Modern Warfare space. That's your game. That's how your entire content revolves around that game, which you have set that up to be that content machine. Whereas like for a variety streamer like myself, not that we have more freedom to do kind of whatever we want to do, but if we do want to switch games out, but kind of want to keep playing one of the games, it's very easy to just do a YouTube Let's Play. Like if you want to keep playing a game, but your chat's kind of over it. Like I've played through Elden Ring on my stream 3 times. I think my chat is over Elden Ring, but I am not over Elden Ring. So I am doing an Elden Ring Let's Play on YouTube. And my goal with that, kind of how I mentioned beforehand, is like, you can kind of build this momentum into a brand new game when it first comes out. Like with the Breath of the Wild, hopefully my goal is to build momentum with this Elden Ring Let's Play on YouTube. So by the time DLC comes out for Elden Ring, I'm going to be able to post YouTube content right away on Elden Ring's DLC. And then I'll get traction over there. That'll add the discoverability of my Twitch. People will come check me out. And it's all about the cycle. But I don't know how to just stream one game. I think that's the main reason that I'm not a single game streamer, is because there is one game that I could stream World of Warcraft until my eyes bleed. Like that's
wow. Okay.
But my problem with that is nobody in my community cares about World of Warcraft. So like I can be a variety streamer so far until I'm just like so off base with my community that they don't care about it. So like I played World of Warcraft for like 15, 16 years. And I would love to stream World of Warcraft, but everything that I built my community on is like the Borderlands game, Assassin's Creed, Dark Souls, like all the different types of games. So I don't know. There's not a game out right now except possibly Elden Ring where I could say, okay, community, I'm going to sit here and I'm just going to stream this game for the rest of the time you watch me stream. And I think the reason I'm afraid to do that is because I don't want to lose people. Like, even though I'm 3 years in, I really only kind of count my content creation journey as a year because that starts from being on TikTok to now.
Sure.
And that's where I've had my most growth. So I don't know. I almost would have to rebrand myself as, hey, Pastorgainz is now an Elden Ring streamer, that rather than like, hey, if you go to Pastorgainz stream, you're going to have a fun time and he's going to talk to you and you're going to talk to him and it's going to be awesome. And then sometimes there's gameplay. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to really juggle that. And I feel like I'd go a little bit crazy. Like you said, you genuinely enjoy playing Warzone the entire time you stream, for the most part. I mean, obviously it's Modern Warfare. Everyone is going to hate it at some point, but you are able to go back and go back and go back. What is that? Like, what is that? I don't even know if that's even the right question to ask. Like, what allows you to do that day in and day out? Because and maybe it's the fact that like video games hit different for me now as a variety streamer because I use everything in my stream to make content instead of sit down and just play video games now. So like, where did that love go? I guess for me, like, I mean, that I can't just do that. I don't know.
I don't know. So I mean, for me, I mean, I guess I've always been like that. You're right. You know, really when I really started getting into first person shooters on you know I mean, I guess you could say a quote unquote competitive level at any rate was the original Counter-Strike. I mean, I'm talking like circa 2001, right?
So toxic,
we used to play we used to play in tournaments, right? I mean, I would go I was in Southern California and so kind of travel around a little bit SoCal and play in different tournaments at LAN centers and those sort of things. But you know, I remember Counter-Strike. I played that for years. Me and my friends would play that literally for nonstop. I don't want to say nightly, but I mean pretty close, right? So I mean, I was never a variety streamer to begin with, so it's very natural for me just to play one game and get good at it, especially games like, you know, Counter-Strike, you know, Call of Duty, because it's such a competitive game. There's always like this, you know what, like can I get whatever Warzone? I want to get a win and, you know, try to get as many kills as possible, right? It's very competitive. I'm not somebody who can sit down and play, you know, whatever, Elden Ring, right? That's not like, I can't do that, right?
It's not up your alley. It's just not for you.
Yeah, exactly, right? But once again, I mean, that now my brand, the thing, you know, that I'm known for is Call of Duty content, right? Particularly not pulling my parachute, but we'll get into that another time. And, you know, if as soon as I transition out of that, let's say I all of a sudden said, you know what, I'm going to start playing variety games. I guarantee you I'd probably lose 20% of my community because so many of them know me as, I mean, at one point I was hosting customs when Warzone still had customs.
I remember that.
They bring it back, but
I remember
that was a big day for me. I mean, sometimes I would average 55, 60 viewers a stream. The entire stream I did customs. Now, don't get me wrong, I 100%, they're just stream snipers, got it. But I'm still, it was very satisfying to end this stream, and I was like, yo, I averaged 55 for this stream, you know? But I built some of my community out of, you know, hosting customs and being able to play with the community. And I think that's kind of why Call of Duty Warzone is so popular in games like that. It's because you can hold these, you know, I guess people call them community nights, where you can have everybody kind of come in and play the game with you versus things like Assassin's Creed, where it's really just you playing it. And there's no opportunity for, you know, your viewers and your community to come in and say, I want to play with, you know, iampastorgainz, right? No, there's no opportunity for that. All it is just you playing the game, and they're going to watch you play the game. And I feel like Call of Duty Warzone, especially when I was hosting customs, and now, you know, for the most part, I have a queue that I work through. So they come in, they add themselves to the queue, and I kind of rotate to the queue. So still an opportunity to play with viewers. But I think that's kind of what drives a lot of people into my stream is they enjoy, for whatever reason, they enjoy playing the game with me and you know, having a good time, having good laughs. But you kind of touched on it a little bit. I know I mentioned it as well, but whatever you're doing, you know, for you, it's another playthrough on Elden Ring on YouTube. Just figure out how to create content from it. You can there's every single game out there. You can create content from it. You just need to figure out how to do that. And once you actually master that, and once you figure that out, then 100%, you know, play whatever game you want. You just have to figure out how to create content from that. Once again, I think we're on the same page with this. You can't bounce around too often try and
For
stick
sure.
with,
For
the
sure.
same, brand or the same game over the course of at least a couple of weeks before you transition to, whatever, some other game, and be able to get
Mhm.
enough content for you to post a consistent basis. Because I think as a variety streamer, there is some opportunity for growth, because if I'm a variety streamer, I can go stream and play Call of Duty Warzone for a couple weeks,
Mhm.
right? Capture some content, and then from there go stream Forza Motorsport and go play a racing
Mhm.
game for a couple weeks, right? Once again, I can go capture a bunch of viewers for Call of Duty Warzone, and then I go capture a bunch of viewers for Forza. And eventually, right now, I mean, I think for the most part, my viewer base and my community, they will continue to be a member of my community, and they'll support me. It just depends on what game they would see me play, but I think most of them would
Sure.
continue to stay here and support me, because it's not. I would say 80% of them are not around just because I play Call of Duty Warzone. They've enjoyed my content. They enjoy me as a
Mhm.
person, as a streamer. But that's because, I built that over the course of time. But I do think 20% of them would say, Dad the Gamer doesn't really stream or play Call of Duty Warzone anymore. That's all I play. Unfollow him. Got it. No hard feelings. It is what it is.
Yeah, and I think the bottom line here is that there's no real wrong way to do this. I think that, like Dad the Gamer was saying, if you stream one game for long enough, eventually not only are your community members going to form a bond with that game, but they're also going to form a bond with you, and they're going to want, if they the cool thing about doing one game is you get them curious. If they're there for long enough, you get them
Yep.
curious to see what it would be like for you. Like, I guarantee you, for October, because everyone's doing spooky games in October. I'm doing spooky games in
100%.
October. I guarantee you, your entire community would rave watching you play a scary game. I
They're already
guarantee it,
trying.
because
They're already
yeah,
trying.
because
They're already
everyone
trying.
loves that. So it's like, in some regards, you stay with your community for long enough on one game, you then have the ability, like you said, you'd lose maybe about 20% of them, but you have the ability to maintain a big chunk
Sure. Yep.
because they're there for you. And I think when you stream a variety games, you kind of shortcut that road a little bit, because your community is really, in my opinion, like really there for you, because you're all over the place. And I think what you said too about spending enough time in a game, and I'm honestly kind of bad about this too, is spend enough time in a game to where you can beat the game and then move on to the next game. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like that's the best way to be a variety streamer is, hey, I'm going to be streaming these kind of games, but every single time I stream a game, I'm going to beat it. So you guys have the finished product, and then you can see me
100%.
go into another game. And I think that's a really healthy way of doing things. Whereas, like, you can start a game and then 6 and 7 days later, like, I think I'm going to switch games. Like, that just gives your community whiplash. It's not a great way to be a variety streamer,
Yep.
in my opinion. But bro, I was chuckling to myself over here, because I was like, you were talking Warzone up so much. I was like, why don't I play Warzone? I was like, oh yeah, I don't cuss on stream. Like, that was my. I was laughing at myself, because it's like, oh, that's why. Because I am every 2007 Modern Warfare lobby when I play that game alone.
Oh
I
my
guarantee you.
God.
So, like, and like I said, that's a whole nother topic for another time. But like, I was trying to think. I was like, gosh, is there a reason? Like, maybe I should start playing Warzone. Like, he's talking it up so great. And I was like, oh no, I'm a sailor when that happens. Like, it's absolutely horrific. So that's my reason for not doing that. But there's, like I said, there's no wrong way to stream. Like, whatever you want to do, different strokes for different folks. Obviously, Dad the Gamer and I, like, we do different stuff, but you can have success at either one. It just depends on what you want to do, and if you can create content as a variety streamer. And I've seen a lot of people create content as a variety streamer just doing let's plays, and they just upload
Yep.
their gameplay from, start to finish, of like episode 1, 2 through 10 or whatever it may be, and then that one is done and that's up on YouTube forever. And then they start their next let's play and they just go through that. And there's a lot of streamers and content creators that have a really good track record with doing that. But I agree with what Dad the Gamer said. You just have to figure out a way to brand and create that content around what you're doing at the specific time. If it's Warzone and you're a single game streamer, rock on, knock yourself out. You're going to get really good at making content, because you're only
Yep.
making that content for that one game. You're going to get so familiar with it. You're going to get so in-depth stuff. You'll be able to do everything you need to do with it. But then as a variety streamer, it's just going to be one of those things where your community just kind of comes with you on this journey of
Sure.
kind of like a love of multiple gaming, because the majority of people in life play all kinds of games, you know. And I'm not saying that it's bad that people play like one game. Like,
Yeah,
I love
100%.
Modern
Yeah,
Warfare.
absolutely.
I'm
Yeah.
not sitting here just like crap talking
Oh,
Modern Warfare
100%.
because you literally made me think about starting to stream that game like 5 seconds ago. So
Don't
you know,
do
it
it.
is
Just
what
save
it
your
is.
sanity.
Yeah, just forget
your
about it, man.
sanity.
It's not worth it. It's not
Save your
worth it at all.
sanity.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so
No,
I think you're right, man.
Yeah, I think you know, kind of one last party note, you know, once again, it's how you create content from the game that you're stream. But really, honestly, how you create content from your stream altogether. Not even the game that you're playing,
Yeah.
just your stream altogether is how you create content from it. Because honestly, one of I mean, in my opinion, she's a top 3, if not one of the best content creators out there right now. Sweet Tails. If you look at Sweet Tails' content, none of her content is of her playing the games. All of her content is her just hanging out, having a good time with chat, BSing. And I get it. You know, she has several thousand viewers, so it's easier to have those moments that she has on stream, right? But, you know, she's not out there creating content from the games that she's playing. No, she's creating content from her just hanging out with her community and having a good time. And that's kind of where people need to figure out is how you can create content from your stream, kind of regardless of the game that you're going to play. If you want to play Warzone, awesome, go play Warzone. But, you know, once again, I really do think that sticking to a game, at least for, you know, a couple weeks that you're going to stream, play it through, then, you know, create content from that, then kind of move on and say, hey, you know what, we're gonna play this now, and maybe get your community involved and say, hey, you know what, let's play this game together, see who can beat it first, and, you know, move on from there.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, that is going to be all for this episode of The Live Button. If you want to find us on any social media platform, for myself, you can find me at twitch.tv/pastorgainz. You can also find me at iampastorgainz on every single platform. That is Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all that jazz. Just search that, you'll find it. You can also, obviously, The Live Button Pod on every single platform, which is YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all that. You can just look that up. We'll show up. And then, Dad, where can they find you, bud?
Yeah, twitch.tv/TheDadTheGamer on just about every single platform as well. And then once again, if you guys wanted to follow wherever you guys are watching this at, we're on every single social media platform for the podcast as well. So if you guys want to watch us on YouTube, the full episode will be uploaded to YouTube as well as TikTok. So appreciate you guys listening. You guys have a great rest of your day. Later.
Later, guys.